Hey, how you doing, my friends? I've gotten a lot of questions in the past number of days about the PMBOK guide. People saying they don't understand the layout. I understand what you're talking about. It could be a little bit esoteric. I remember the first time I went to the library, sat down, opened up the thing, I was staring at it like a zombie for 3 straight hours. I could not make head nor tail out of it. Now, when you ease beyond chapters 1, 2, and 3, a few things begin to make sense, but even then, it's still a little bit all over the place. So I wanted to give you the skinny of it. I'm hoping that we can spend just 15 minutes going through a pragmatic situation, a pragmatic project. I can show you some templates and tools. There's actually one of our buddies here on LinkedIn who asked for help. And I wanted to create a video real rapidly to help this individual get a better 360 degree of the PMBOK guide. And many other students have asked for the same thing. So let's talk about what a project is off the bat. You guys already read it in the PMBOK guide that a project is a temporary endeavor. It has a start and it has an end. Now, why do we need the PMBOK guide? Why do we need project management anyway? Can't people work without additional overhead management? Well, that's not really what it is. You put in time and effort into an endeavor and you want it to turn out the best way possible. You don't want to waste your funds or your resources. And that's why organizations have realized that project managers are needed. Because if you left the people doing the work to themselves, they'd probably do it in a way that is not in a timely fashion, that is not on budget, that is not within scope. Many things. Many things. Be honest. Have you ever worked on a project and you said, I did not manage my resources properly. I did not manage my time properly. I wish there was someone that I could give this responsibility to. That's what project management is. Someone else has the responsibility of driving efforts, of driving the cost management, the schedule management, the scope management, because the people doing the work should do the work. And you and I, the project management personnel, we should project manage the work. Anyone in business should know that doing the work and managing the work are different. I was listening to Bob Iger a couple of days ago, the Disney CEO, who was sharing lessons learned from his life, and he talked about his team, and he gave his team an assignment to do something. I'm like, that sounds like project management to me, because you did nothing in the work, you gave it to your team. That's how project management is. There needs to be someone at the helm of a company, a CEO like Bob. There needs to be someone at the helm of the project like you. It's a scaled down version of the company. Because what is the company? The company is just many tiny little bits and pieces of work. Projects, programs, portfolios, operations. He was talking about the acquisition of Pixar. And I could absolutely relate because I've been through acquisitions and mergers and divestitures myself. Business as usual for the project manager. You see, a project is a temporary endeavor undertaken to deliver a unique product, a unique service, or some other unique result, like a successful divestiture or merger or whatever it is. So stop looking at project management as just deliverables, products. No, deliverables means product, service, or result. And that's why we need project managers. That's why we need a systematic, sensible way to drive these endeavors to closure. That's what project management is. Now, the more successful you are as a project manager, the better. What could better your chances of success as a project manager? Doing nothing? No. Intentional studying. Intentional studying of a system that has been proven to work. An intentional study of a way or a framework that many companies have built their methods from. That's what the PMBOK Guide is. It's a plug and play framework. So people looking at the PMBOK Guide as, oh, 49 things. I don't want to have to do 49 things. Of course you shouldn't. You should tailor your approach. That's what it's all about. Okay? So let's set the base. We have made a case right now for project management. Now let's go a step further. How is it done? What are the best practices? Now, to answer that question, I am going to show you certain tools and techniques and ideas that I have from what a friend of mine did when he worked with me. There are many templates and tools that I have to share with you. And I'm going to look for the populated techniques and tools to share with you. But right off the bat, I want you to follow me to our website where you can download free, well, government paid for these. Go to tiny.cc/Sigma PMO. And you have to practice the art of filling these forms in, or they will not make sense. And they're not just forms. These are organizational process assets. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. This right here, right? This is a repository of templates and tools from the CDC. We have charters in here. Okay. You're starting off an endeavor, right? The endeavor has not yet crystallized into a project. Management is thinking of making it official. How do they know they should make it official? This right here, my friends, a business case. And you've got two here. So let's click on the more robust business case. Let's open it up. Right there. That is a business case. Now, you do know that some measure of work is needed to understand this stuff. So you have to apply yourself. But what I'm trying to do is show you where this stuff is so that you can go there and take a look. So the business case, this document right here, when you pull it up, look at the table of contents, because CDC did a great job here, okay? Now, if you look at the business case that they have here, it says, high-level business impact. Oh, general project information as well, alternatives and analysis, preferred solution, financial considerations, blah, blah, blah. You got 4 solutions, A, B, C, or D. And this business case makes a case for the project and shows you the solutions that exist for what you want. Maybe you want a playground for the community. Should we build? Should we buy? What should we do? Should we go with X, Y, or Z alternatives? That's it. So you're building a playground. You could have a business case that makes a case for why the playground should be built. And it could even go as far as showing you the cash flow that comes in, right? When it's one of those parks where you can charge people for coming in or parking, you can make a case for the income coming into the community, right? Into the county, wherever that park is. So the business case is what helps you do that, okay? That is one of the first things that you do in project management. You create a business case. It's an economic feasibility study. So management might look at this business case and say, absolute nonsense, we're not doing this. Or they may look at this and say, my goodness, there is some money to be made here. You know, there is some mutual benefit, even if we have to borrow some huge capital funds, this is going to pay off in the long run. You can see the cash flow, the net present value. You see that in the next 5 to 10 years, the county can be $100 million richer. Wouldn't you want to do that? Yes, but it's the business case. Now, a needs assessment, which is talked about in the PMBOK Guide, precedes the business case. Because you want to spend all that time doing a business case if right off the bat you realize, no, not a good idea. But the moment the idea begins to resonate in a needs assessment, do we really need this? then you can go a step further, okay, and do the business case. So that's the business case, okay? Along these lines, there is another really helpful document. I don't want to go to the website. It's a PMI document. Go to PMI's website, look for a benefits management plan. Now, don't go off on a rabbit trail. Stay with me. Don't do it now. But find a benefits management plan, because all it does is it illuminates the benefits of the project, when you're going to get the benefits. Are they tangible? Are they intangible? That kind of thing. So that's the second business document that the PMI talk about in Develop Project Charter. This is also talked about on page 30 to 35, pretty much. So take a look at the business case and the benefits management plan. Okay, when those have been understood, the next thing you should look at is the project charter. We have two versions of it. Let's open the more robust one. There's your charter right there on the screen. Let's try and get it. Here it is. And you already know about the project charter. I'm sure some of you can talk about it all day long, but if you haven't opened up a charter, you are going to be struggling to understand what they mean. A lot of these things are documents. So for anyone that says, I don't understand what the PMI is saying, look for the document. I just showed you a repository with a plethora of them. So the project charter should not be rocket science. It should not. You should be able to take a look at this thing and say, oh, I see where they're going with this. It's a document. Of course it's a document. Okay? It is a document that authorizes the project. So if you look at the contents, again, of this, I mean, let's be honest. Those of you that have not filled in one of these before, that's all right. But looking at the table of contents, doesn't it tell you what the document is? It does. It does. So read through the table of contents. Is that one thing I can count on you to do? Because the CDC, they did quite a good job. I must give them credit for that. So they've got a whole plethora of project documents here, and plans and baselines and things you can take and use. So what do we have? High-level requirements, major deliverables, boundaries. I actually did a little bit of research, and one of the individuals involved in this is a PMP. I'm like, no wonder. High-level requirements. Yes, it's in the project charter. Major deliverable description, boundaries, all this stuff. It is part of the charter. So if you're having trouble wrapping your mind around the PMBOK guide, you need to come here, take a look at the charter. Okay, then you need to conceive the idea, okay, the county has hired subcontractor X, contractor Y, subcontractor X. They're going to be working on this project. It's a playground. They're going to have all sorts of features that will make people flock there. And here is the charter that authorizes the project. Name of project manager, name of sponsor, high-level deliverable description, stakeholder list, so on and so forth. A lot of these documents are just to get people on the same page, right? So that's your charter. Now, after the charter has been developed, you do know that on page 25, you're going down by process group. So you're going down to the stakeholder register. So you want to look for the stakeholder analysis document they've got here, which is really like a stakeholder register, but they call it stakeholder analysis. Okay. Let's take a look at it. So this is what these guys have here for their stakeholder register at the CDC. You can see name of stakeholder, title of stakeholder, see, contact information for the stakeholder, communication types that this stakeholder would prefer, see, external status meetings or what have you. And there's a description there. Communication vehicles, is it just going to be email? What else? Okay, we use phone for that stakeholder. What is their stake in the project? You could say maybe the testing department staff report to John, for example, some to that effect. You know what I mean? So what is at stake in the project? Why should they be interested in it? What's in it for them? Type of thing. And comments. This could be customized to the ends of the earth, okay? It's just a very basic example. Now, when you get done with a thorough stakeholder analysis, what happens? A lot of things. A lot. And I can tell you that working with a number of companies and teaching them this stuff, one of the things that happens when I show them the stakeholder analysis and the power interest grid and the register, they say, wow, we don't typically do this. Is it possible that stakeholders can change in their location when we're taking a look at the power interest grid? I say, of course. Very well could. You could have phase one, looking at your power interest grid, a stakeholder is here. Low level of power, low level of interest. The project moves, stakeholder receives a promotion. Stakeholder is now here. This is where they were in phase one. This is where they're now in phase two. Phase three, this stakeholder's people are more involved more than ever before. The stakeholder becomes powerful and very interested. The project begins to wind down, and we're in, let's say, phase 7, and the stakeholder now moves departments, but has marginal connection to the project. Stakeholders bounce all over the place. They move around. So with that in mind, when you look at something like this, you need to pragmatize it. You need to practicalize it yourself. And if you're not practicalizing it yourself, you will struggle. You'll struggle. So I want you to go over page 25. Now we come down to identify stakeholders. I'm handing the baton over to you. So don't tell me you don't understand no more. You should go to this site, and the next place you want to go, 2 places. You could go to project management plan. Let's open that one up, because you know we're in planning now. So when you open up the project management plan template, excuse me, that CDC has here, what should you do? You should look at the table of contents. So you look at the table of contents, and what do you see? All of this great stuff. Scope management, schedule management, cost. They've even updated it to 6th edition. Schedule or time management. The milestones, see, the milestones. So they have a compartment there for every single knowledge area. Okay, I spoke too soon. That is really resource, but of course you knew that. And they've kind of customized it, but it's really more like you should have procurement, and then you should have stakeholder management, whatever. You kind of get the idea. You get what I'm saying. This could be customized across many, 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 many fields, many industries. So whatever you need to do, take a look at it. That's that. It's got a high level view because it's not been populated. But then you can go back here and you can begin looking in the individual areas. So if you look for you probably won't find a scope management plan. No, there's none. But in that project management plan I just showed you, right? What do we see? A section for scope. So if you go to the scope section, insert the project scope management plan, or provide a reference to where it is stored. So the idea is for you to zap in here the scope management plan that guides that. They even put in a change management blurb of sorts. The same thing for schedule, for quality. You want to insert your quality management plan, on and on. So this is something that I would really like you guys to do on your own. Go over all this stuff and try and make it real for yourself, okay? For those of you guys that want to see something more pragmatic and practicalized, I have a book called The Time Machine Project. It's on Amazon, and it has got stuff that looks like this. Templates of actually filled in documentation of projects. So this is a project for a backpack. That's the project scope statement. That's the WBS. See that? That's the WBS my buddy came up with. There's the WBS dictionary for this fictitious project. There's a milestone list. There's a responsibility assignment matrix. See all that? On and on and on. See? Lessons learned. And so on. Okay? Go look for the book, The Time Machine Project. You find it there, and it might be able to help you. But apart from that, just go to CDC site, download stuff, master it, know it, play with the templates and tools if you will. But I'm really hoping that it's a very basic overview of how to practicalize this stuff, but I'm hoping that this helps someone, okay? That's it for now, my friends. It's time to shut it down. Speak to you soon.